If you have true faith and you realize that God is in control of my life and provides, then letting him sow that generosity in your heart to give to people in need and to give to your church, I think that's what God is looking for with trust. I'm Patrick King. I've been married 11 years to my wife, Megan. We have 2 sons, Camden and Henry. So when we moved here, we didn't know anybody. We didn't have any family out here. So we went to, I'd say probably 5 or 6 different churches, saw this beautiful building and said, hey, we've never been in a Methodist church before. Let's check it out. And the minute we came into the sanctuary and stayed for the service, the people are what made it. You know, the Pastor Rachel, Pastor Mike were fantastic. They were generous with their words and time after the service. Everybody was friendly and it felt like community. My kids loved the children's ministry. And then one of the things that I always noticed with churches is it seemed that Advent was a very good steward of the resources. There was a nice sweet spot of a beautiful campus church with buildings that were, you know, properly cared for and decorated, but not over the top. So all those things together, we thought, what a great place for us to plant and make our church home. Because I came from Texas as a fireman, retired in 2022, and I enjoyed being retired for about 6 months, but then I hit kind of a depression to where I felt like I wasn't as productive as I should be. And I felt like there was some use that God still had for me. So I sent an email to the Poor Sisters of Clare, which is a Catholic monastery up in Travelers Rest. And I sent a simple email, said, hey, I just need guidance on my life. Just pray for me, pray for my family, my kids to make friends, for us to feel settled. And the very next day, my neighbors tipped me off to a job they thought I'd be perfect for, which is the Fire Academy instructor for Greenville County Schools. And you talk about an answered prayer. I was looking for something in the fire service, but I'm a little bit older and a little bit slower, so I wasn't looking too much on the physical side, more on the teaching side, and those positions don't come open. So I'm convinced that God has provided that. I talked to my wife about it, and we committed to doubling our giving for that year. And I first said, well, wait until I get paid in August when I start the school year and we start getting paid. We'll double up our giving. And then I realized, is that really, if you really trust God, are you gonna wait for the money to arrive, or do you just trust that when you're giving, that you're giving truly from the heart and not waiting for something in return or some sort of, you know, contract between you and God? I get the money and then you get some. So we doubled it, and then shortly thereafter, I got a very large pay adjustment on my teaching salary that I wasn't expecting. They had given me 20 years credit as a fireman in Texas towards my pay. And again, I'm convinced that was God taking care of us because we were trying to be generous towards the mission of the church. Hopefully planting that seed of generosity will grow to a point where you trust God completely with your finances and you say, hey, I wanna give more than I feel comfortable with, and at that point you're letting go of that white knuckle, you know, holding on to your finances. You can release that anxiety from your mind when you say, I'm going to commit money to my church, to other ministries, and trust that God in the end is going to do great things with that. And that's what I love about our church, is that they're very good stewards of their money with all of the different ministries that we're a part of and support. And that's what Christ intended when he blesses people financially. He wants you to provide clean water. He wants you to provide food, shelter, orphanages, you know, ministries towards people in prison, and to really empower people to see what it's like to be a Christian and see how generous we can be with what God has blessed us with.